Tantric Meditations with Light. Observe your essence as rays of light who are rising above your spine, from center to center, and so being alive arises in you. Osho explains, when the spine is young, you are young. When the spine is old, you are old. If we can keep our spine young, old age has a difficulty to get a hold on us. Everything depends on our spine. If the spine is alive, the spirit is brilliant. If the spine gets sick, so does our spirit. Many yoga methods are just based on the try to keep the spine alive, brilliant, full of light, young and fresh. Our spine has two ends. It begins in our sex center and it ends in our crown. The root of our spine is connected with the earth, and the top of our spine is connected with the sky. So the spine connects Prakriti, the material, the earthly, with the heavenly and divine. From Sahasrara, the heavenly regions, the journey goes on to Brahman, the cosmic regions, the absolute existence. So the journey starts from Muladhara, and from here it goes on, and in our human existence we have these two streams, these both two potentialities, two possibilities. And the whole practice of yoga tries to lead these streams to move upwards and not downwards again. So the great aim of yoga and also Tantra is to help the energy to move up the spine. The earth pulls everything down. We get food from the earth. This food gives us life energy, and at the same time it pulls it back towards itself. So that is a circle, and if we go with this circle, then life is always moving in a circle, taking from the earth, giving back to the earth, coming from the earth, going back to the earth. That is the usual cycle of reincarnation, of birth and death. And with the yogic and tantric techniques, we're trying to break through and lead the energy into the vertical so that it can rise and create and ascend to new centers. And when our energy rises in our innermost channel, Brahmanadi, up the spine, and enlightens the brain, activates the Sahasrara chakra, after activating the other chakras, then this is called nirvana. The energy has overcome gravity and moved beyond the circle. techniques that work on the spine are very helpful to break the circles. And we have to understand that the sexual energy in Muladhara is moved by fantasy. The energy doesn't move by itself, it gets going by our imagination. That's why it's working better as soon one is in love with the partner. So, because sex energy moves by imagination, it is possible to change its direction. The sutra says, look at yourself. So the technique is that you close your eyes and you imagine yourself as if you would only be out of light. In the beginning, this is an imagination, but it's also a reality because everything consists of light. Science says everything consists of electricity. And Tantra said in the old ages already that all consists of particles of light. And also religions say God is light. So you are the light. So in this technique you will first imagine with closed eyes that you are nothing but light rays. And then you start concentrating your fantasy on your sex center, on Muladhara. And you concentrate your attention there and you feel how the light rays are rising from Muladhara upwards. So that the Muladhara chakra became a source of light. And these light rays now rising above to the navel and through all the chakras. First from Muladhara, which is becoming the source of light, to the Svadhisthana chakra, to the Manipura chakra, to the Anahata chakra, and to the Vishuddhi chakra, to the Ajna chakra. And for the imagination, it's easier to imagine this going from one center to the next center. And you might be feeling warmth rising with these light rays. And when the light reaches your heart, maybe also your breath has deepened, so that you will feel a warm energy in your heart, and then you rise above your heart and you see your essence, the light rays, how they rise upon the spine, centimeter by centimeter, and you feel this warmth. And this sex energy has two sides. One is physical, but one is also psychological. So feel it in your body and feel it in your soul. And don't be afraid of your own body. If you start touching yourself with love, or you are touched by someone with love, this will regenerate your whole system. Likewise, when you touch your spine and your whole body and your chakras with love, this will activate the whole system with light. Likewise, there are two kinds of orgasms, Osho says. The one is sexual, it happens in Muladhara, and the other one is spiritual and happens in Sahasrara. It had been to me quite confusing in the beginning when I learned Reiki, because in these yogic and tantric techniques we always learned to bring the energy up, to channel the energy upwards, and with breath or with imagination or with mantras. However, the energy in the yogic and tantric techniques is always brought from Muladhara to Sahasrara. And in Reiki, this is quite different, because we channel the energy through our crown chakra from Sahasrara to our hara, or to our heart, or to our third eye, from wherever and however we want to send this energy then. And it took quite a while until I suddenly realized that the energy is so or so everywhere, and it doesn't matter after a certain experience of energy from where you channel the energy. And in the third of the light techniques we work with that. But now I want to come to number 71. Visualize a light point that is jumping from one chakra to the next, or experience the space between them like lightning. Osho says for some people the second technique is better than the first one, and vice versa. We just have to try it, what works better. Osho says in the second technique, when the light is like a lightning jumping from one center to the next, it is like the electrical light. It is not constant, it is illusionary. There are gaps when the light is on and the light is off. And so there is this lightning, and then there is a gap of silence. And usually we don't recognize this gap of silence or darkness in comparison to the light. And if you can imagine that light jumps from one chakra to the other, then the second technique is preferable for you. He writes in general that women, that the first technique might be easier for women and the second might be better for men, because the female imagination can imagine easier, smooth developments, and the male imagination can jump easier. In the second technique, if you feel that these lightnings become too hot, then don't force anything, then you just stop. Never use a meditation when it's becoming really disturbing. Not even when it's becoming greatly disturbing. even if there is a great fear or fear coming up that makes you feel very uncomfortable, then stop the meditation. Then it's simply not the switching technique. There is an expression, sahaj. Sahaj means spontaneous, naturally, unforced. And if the meditation technique, let's say, just comes to you and you just feel, wow, I click with that and it feels good and you feel better after it, then you have found your method. No? And you can trust that. So, 72, the third technique. Feel the presence of the ever-living cosmos. Feel the cosmos as an eternal presence which is alive. And here again, the light. If we feel the whole cosmos as an eternal presence that is alive, then this aliveness is also shown in colors of the rainbow and the light. So that light comes up into your imagination by itself when you imagine yourself long enough as this eternal, deathless presence. And that's the point that I mentioned before, that is the point where the light comes in, and the light simply is, and we realize that everything consists of this light. We, our surrounding, everything is full of light and energy. Light energy. Osho mentions here an example of drug LSD, which changes the perception also. He said nothing against LSD. He just said that LSD, like every other drug, manipulates the perception and cannot be kept on a longer base, and also maybe has unwished side effects. So it's understandable by itself that meditation is preferable. No? And the advice is to sit in the room comfortably in a yoga posture if possible, and to turn the light off and light a candle and just be loving and attentive and start praying to the candle. Show yourself to me. Show yourself to me. And after you've taken a shower, you sit in front of the candle and you look at the candle and forget everything else. Only look into the candle, the flame and the candle. Don't stop looking. And after 5 minutes, you will realize that there has a lot of things changed in the candle. But in the candle nothing changed. What is changing are your eyes. If you keep looking in the candle and in the flame with a loving view and attitude, and you let the whole world outside and you are completely concentrated with a feeling heart, then you will see new colors and new phenomena around the candle which you haven't seen before. The whole rainbow is possibly there, because light consists of all colors. And you will keep watching, simply keep watching. When tears flow down your eyes, keep watching. The tears will rejuvenate your eyes. So, Tratak in yoga is done in a very similar way. Let's come back to the last of the light techniques here. It was feel the whole cosmos as an eternal living presence. And in the moment where you start feeling this eternal living presence, your spirit will become totally silent, and you will become a part of this presence, at least. Like if you are an instrument in a fantastic great symphony, like a drop which is dissolving in an ocean. So 3 tantric meditations with healing light in the spine. The yogic meditation Tratak on the third eye is of course a very good light meditation. Likewise, breathing techniques where we imagine that the breath or light flows with the breath up the spine and down the spine with the out breath. Incoming breath upwards and outgoing breath flows down the spine. So that we also create connection and harmony between these two poles in which our body is living here on earth. And we activate slowly this upwards flow of our energy.